So guys, I've got an absolute doozy of a video for you today. I'm going to be taking you through some training and some eating. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I know that a lot of my videos are mostly just educational, me sitting there kind of talking head videos. And I know it's valuable for me to kind of show you guys how this works in practice, because I think that's really valuable as well. And I know you guys really enjoy these types of videos. It's not always feasible for me to make them because I don't live alone yet. I live with my grandparents who are in their 70s and still don't know really what a phone is. So
take that away from my face, Rio, or I'm going to smack it. You want me to break it? Take
Try
it
it.
away.
Try it. They're like, they think it's fucking weird, right? Like I film most of my videos in my room. They're like, this kid's so fucking lowly, but like, I'm not. I'm educating my audience. God damn it. You guys will notice that I don't talk about nutrition that much on my channel, and this was an intentional approach for me when I was beginning my channel. I figured that if I took a broad, general approach to my YouTube channel and just talked about everything regarding fitness, then my channel wouldn't gain any traction. So I really focused in on the niche of, drug-free muscle building and the training. And I also think that that's where a lot of guys go wrong, because I think that's also where most of the bullshit in the fitness industry is spewed, is in regards to training and people thinking that they need to live in the gym to see great results. But I want to also start to expand more into nutrition videos and talk about rest and sleep, because I think a lot of guys don't achieve success with their physique because they think building a great physique is just about applying one piece of the equation, when in reality, in order to see success with your physique, you have to apply the total package of proper training, proper rest and sleep, proper nutrition. And that's why most guys don't succeed. It's about applying that entire package. You can't just cut corners, and you have to apply them all at once, and that's how you're going to see the results you want, right? So it's important for me to also talk about these different topics, and I will start to expand more into them now. And if you guys didn't know, growing up, I was super fat, right? Super insecure, had a low self-esteem. So nutrition, more than anything, is actually something that has plagued me my entire life. Like muscle building, when you're a kid, like you don't really care about building muscle, right? That came a little bit later for me, and that was also something I struggled with, following obviously a lot of the crappy approaches in the fitness industry. But more than anything, like nutrition was one of the biggest problems that I had to solve, and I solved it relatively young because of the fact that I tried so many different diet approaches. I think I started my first diet when I was like 10 years old or 11. And so I've tried many different diets. I've done keto, I've done paleo, I've done low fat, I've done intermittent fasting. I've done all of these different diet approaches, and I've uncovered quite a good and simple philosophy to dieting. And if you guys are in my Herculean bulking program, which I know a lot of you guys are, you'll notice that the diet section is not very nuanced, because I try and keep it very simple and solve mainly for sustainability and consistency. And ultimately, consistency stems from sustainability. And there's so many different people talking about different dieting approaches, and there's really no consensus on what the best diet is. So the approach that I like to take is, I just figured, I can't stay consistent with any of this bullshit, okay? There's too many variables for me to factor in here, and so I need to simplify things and make sure that I'm going to be able to sustain the most important key levers that are going to be responsible for the majority of the results, right? And what I figured is, calorie intake is important. You need to hit the right calorie target for your goals, whether you want to lose fat or gain muscle. You need to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose fat, calorie surplus if you want to gain muscle. Very simple, right? Next thing is you need protein. Obviously, protein is very important for the building and repairing of lean muscle tissue, but you need a lot less than what most people in the fitness industry have led you to believe. You only need about 0.82 grams per pound of body weight in protein. And a lot of people in the past have said you need 2 grams per pound of body weight in protein. It's absolute bullshit. It's just a scheme from the supplement industry to try and get you to buy protein powders. You can easily get enough protein through your diet. And then the last thing I try and solve for is, I want to be healthy, because at the end of the day, this is not the most sexy thing ever, but if we don't have our health, then fuck, what do we have really, right? I try and eat healthy foods. Obviously, I try and eat a diet that consists mainly of whole foods. I take that kind of 80-20 approach as well, though. 10 to 20% can be kind of junk per se, and then most of my diet I just try and get lots of whole foods in. And that's really the approach that I take, and that's to solve for health and overall hormonal functioning and energy output, all of that. And that's really all I solve for. The rest is like, how can I take this approach and make it the most enjoyable and sustainable approach ever? And that's what you have to figure out for yourself. And I don't give a general dieting philosophy, dieting approach, because it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody lives a different life. Some people want to eat 4 meals a day, some people want to eat 2 meals a day. That shit doesn't really matter. I just tell you guys, like, hey, hit on these fucking principles and make sure that it's sustainable for you. And what what that's going to come down to is looking at your lifestyle. How's my lifestyle shaped, and then how can I shape my diet around this to make it very simple and enjoyable? Because that's the approach you want to take. Like, I personally don't want to spend all day cooking meals. I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about my diet. That's really my approach with dieting, and I think it's the best approach. As I said, I've tried so many different approaches. I can't stick to anything but this. I woke up about an hour and a half ago. I haven't eaten anything yet, just drank some coffee, so I'm about to go grab my first meal. And so I'm very flexible with this. I don't tell myself I gotta eat at this time, I gotta eat at this time. Like, I don't tell myself I gotta eat this many meals. It's like, no, I don't. I just make sure at the end of the day, have I hit my calorie intake, have I gotten enough protein, and is most of my diet filled with whole foods? And guys, a lot of people think I'm really weird when it comes to food, so a lot of people are like, dude, why do you put this with that? Why do you mix these two things together? I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, okay? Shut up. It's good. So I'm going to take you guys through what you guys might think is weird. I'm actually thinking of making a cookbook. I learned a lot of my cooking ability from my grandma. You guys know my grandma. She's fucking hilarious. Tell the story.
Rio, fuck you.
I learned a lot of my cooking ability from her because she's from Spain and she cooks amazing. So I'm kind of thinking of doing a little cookbook, me and her. I call her Abuela. Abuela is Spanish for grandma, but I just call her Abuela for ease of simplicity. That's her name, right? So I'm going to do like a Rio featuring Abuela cookbook for you guys. I think you guys will fucking love it because there's a lot of really good meals that she's taught me that are very kind of, fitness friendly. So I'm thinking about that. I might do that for you guys to go along with the program as well. And so I actually just started my bulk. So I've been cutting for the past couple of months. And so you guys know I was traveling in Europe, right? And so that was basically me just doing damage control because of all of the good food around me. I was just trying to maintain my leanness as much as I could because I kind of got lean prior to that trip to give myself some wiggle room to get a little bit fat on the trip. Just because I know, like, if I'm on the trip, man, like I was gone for 2 months, I'm not gonna, there's not a chance in hell I'm not gonna put on a few pounds. Like, it's gonna happen. If I'm in Europe, I'm gonna enjoy myself, you know what I mean? And I don't really care because fat loss is such a quick process that I can just get rid of it. So basically what I did is when I got back home, I spent the first 2 weeks kind of just leaning down a little bit, getting myself ready for the bulk. And so I started my bulk like a few days ago. And so when I'm bulking, I like to do, generally speaking, obviously I said I'm not very stringent with regards to the meals that I eat per day. I generally speaking do about 3 meals and sometimes like a little dessert. For the first 2 meals, I kind of keep them at a similar size, and I try and avoid cooking too much. I try and make meals with very little preparation for the first 2 meals, and then the dinner is really where I'll prepare something really good. But I also want to enjoy my food, so like I make my food tasty and enjoyable, and do not get it twisted. You can most certainly make your food enjoyable if you're into fitness, okay? Do not let anyone tell you that you have to eat these bland, boring meals. It's not the case. As I said, hit on the principles: calories, protein, and get mostly whole foods. You can make your food taste amazing, and that's really what I want to aim to do with this cookbook that I'm probably going to make. Teach you guys how to make very simple, easy to prepare meals that are really tasty and kind of health friendly. So right now I'm going to make some eggs, and then I'm going to mix it with some tuna, which is absolutely incredible. You guys got to try that. And then I'm going to have probably some watermelon. I'll probably put some cheese in there as well, and then I'll have some watermelon on the side. Alright guys, so that's the meal. It's basically 4 eggs, a can of tuna, some cheese, olive oil, and a little bit of onions. Super quick meal and super tasty, and then I had some watermelon on the side. So I'll leave the calories and the ingredients for you guys so you guys can make this meal super tasty, super quick to prepare. So I'm going to eat this quickly, and then I got to jump on a call with a potential video editor. So I'm looking to bring on a video editor that can free up a bit of my time because editing takes so long, man. Holy shit. Let's give this a shot here. Super good, man. So I'm gonna down this and get back to you in a little bit. All right, so I'm getting into my workout now and starting things off with the overhead press. So I'm still training twice a week, of course, with 2 full body workouts. And if you guys didn't know, when I was in Holland, I picked up a little injury in my lower back and had to stop training for a little bit. And I definitely lost some strength. And also that combined with the other factors like a bad sleep schedule and so-so nutrition from constantly traveling and moving from spot to spot. And so I want to share with you guys some lessons I learned recently and new things I'm testing out in my training. So first thing I want to touch on is that I'm experimenting with this new training style that I actually kind of discovered by accident, but that I really enjoy. And this will tie into what I'm going to share with you guys next. But I'm always testing new things and making sure that my approach and the information that I share with you guys is as good as possible, of course. And so you guys know that I'll typically do like a top set, back off set approach, which I really like. But right now I'm experimenting with some more straight sets. And this other new style I'm testing on a few of my exercises, one of which is the overhead press, which you guys will see right here, where I'm essentially doing 2 straight sets for like 6 to 8 reps, and then I follow that up with a back off set aiming for around 10 reps. So it's 3 sets in total, 2 straight sets, and then 1 back off set. So it's pretty similar, but I'm using a bit more straight sets. And I'm not doing this for every exercise because that would be overkill, but for a few of my upper body exercises, I'm trying this out, and I'll keep you guys updated on how I progress with this compared to the usual top set, back off set approach. And so this ties into what I'm going to share with you next, and you guys will see here that I'm using a lot less weight than I usually do, and that's of course because of the strength I lost due to my injury and traveling, but I'm also experimenting with this cool cycling method that I'm really loving. And so that last injury wasn't actually the first time something like this has happened, and I've come to realize with maturity that you really don't need to go all out in every workout. And this is the main reason for my experimentation with more straight sets, because the top set, back off set style, while it works extremely well, it can be extremely intense and demanding. And like, yes, you have to push yourself to the limit in most of your workouts, but not all of them. And I've learned that when you push yourself to your limit in every single workout and rush progress and continuously slap weight onto the bar before you're ready and before your body's adapted, there's a natural built-in cycling process whether you like it or not. So whether you get injured, whether you plateau or even regress, it will happen. And so here's how I would recommend cycling your training. And if you guys aren't on my email list, definitely get on my email list. You guys can get on there through picking up my free 13-point natural muscle building checklist, because that's where I send a lot of these new epiphanies and things that are happening in my day-to-day life and things that I'm learning with my training, my nutrition, lifestyle, etc. So get on my email list, pumping out tons of value there very regularly, so make sure to get on there. And so this kind of cycling process will apply whether you're returning to the gym after a layoff or injury, or if you're starting a new training program or cycle. And so it essentially works in 3 stages. And I really think that this is the key to making consistent and long-term gains, because guys, there aren't many shortcuts to building a great physique, but there is one, and it's simply to be able to train consistently for a long time without getting injured or having tons of setbacks. And this is probably one of the biggest killers of gains, and it most definitely has been for me. I've had many setbacks through injuries and trying to push myself too quickly, add weight to the bar too quickly, and it always backfires. You make fast progress for short periods of time, but then it always comes to bite you in the ass, and you never make forward progress for long periods of time before you get injured. Like, sure, you make fast progress for short spurts, but then it backfires and you're constantly running on a hamster wheel. So here's how the stages work. There's 3 stages. The first one, which is what I'm in right now and is why I'm using much lighter weight than I usually do. And this should basically begin after taking 7 to 10 days off of training roughly to get completely rested before starting your new program or training cycle. And so what I'm doing now with great success is starting back again at about 10 to 15% lighter than my previous working set weights on all of my exercises. So this gives you basically a running start. And at this stage, you're focusing on building momentum, getting your form dialed in again, and giving your mind and body a break from all out max intensity training. So within this first stage, you should build up to roughly 95% of your previous working set weights within the first 3 weeks. And then during the next few weeks after that stage, you will slowly inch your way back up to your personal bests. And usually by this point, you'll return to your previous bests without feeling as though you were at your limits. And this will set the stage for months of venturing into new weight territory. And so the next stage, which is the growth stage, which is the most important cycle of any training program where the serious muscle and strength will be built. And this is basically what you've been preparing for in the previous stages. And this is where you want to give it your all in every workout and literally do everything in your power to extend this stage for as long as possible and milk it dry of gains. And so the fastest gains you'll ever make as a natural lifter will be made by having the longest possible stretch of consecutive all-out workouts with the biggest weight increases. And of course, in reality, fast progress is usually slow for a drug-free lifter unless you're a complete beginner, of course. But as the growth stage slows down and your workouts are very heavy and demanding, the core movements in your routine are where almost all of your focus should go. because of your limited recovery ability. And so to maximize gains at the end of this cycle, you might need to phase out some secondary isolation work and free up some recovery for gains on the big compound lifts. And then when you get stuck for 3 to 4 weeks in most of your core movements, despite using my strength plateau tactics, which I actually made a video on recently, then you are at the end of your training cycle and it's time to stop and repeat this process. And don't try and push through this because you may pay for it like I did. I basically just kept pushing when I should have stopped, reset things, and kind of, taking some weight off, giving my body a little bit of a break from the all-out max intensity training, which I didn't do, and I pushed through it, and I paid for it with injury, and then now I'm having this setback. And so this is what I believe is the guaranteed recipe for long-term success in your training programs. And so the next important thing that actually ties into the high intensity training video that I made recently, where I talk about how a lot of people think training hard and high intensity is the end in and of itself rather than a means to an end and a tool that we use to produce progressive overload on our lifts. And so when you leave the gym, you should feel fatigued and well worked, but not insanely exhausted. And in order to turn the stimulation you produce in the gym into rock hard muscle tissue, your body has to fully recover from your training. You have to work within your ability and capacity to recover before your next workout. And this way, you can actually get around to growing instead of just struggling to recover from the workout itself in time for your next one. So the key for naturals is in just doing just enough hard work to stimulate muscle and strength gains, and then getting out of the gym, resting and then recovering, and then coming back next workout or every other workout with the ability to make small leaps in strength. And so you don't want to annihilate yourself, because then you have no chance of recovering for your next workout in time to grow and overcompensate, which is to put on a little bit extra muscle. Driving yourself to exhaustion in every workout invites inevitable stagnation and regression, and this is what happened to me. So this is kind of why this workout's a little bit different. I'm kind of experimenting with some new things, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated on how these new experiments go. And so it's always better to err on the side of conservatism, so you can create some gaining momentum and ensure that every 1 to 2 weeks you're going up in strength and therefore gaining muscle. And so many people want fast gains, myself included, and their efforts to get them end up leaving them behind the person who settles on progressing in the slow but sure way. And that's the key, man. If you just go balls to the wall all the time, it just becomes very hard to maintain a consistent level of strength gains for a long period of time. And so that's kind of the rant that I wanted to share with you guys. And that's why you may have seen a few new things in my content recently, especially when I was talking about the adding weight to the bar too quickly, the high intensity training, and a bit more of that conservatism kind of approach. And I think that's really important for natural lifters, man, because as I said, the way to quickest gains is just to fucking avoid getting injured and having these setbacks. And I've gone through many of them, and I think it's costed me quite a bit of gains, quite frankly, over the years, because it adds up, man. You go through these periods where you make really fast gains because you're just pushing extremely hard, and then it's fuck, you hit this wall, you hit this bump, and then boom, you have to reset everything, and then boom. So I recommend trying the cycling process. And if you guys are in my Herculean bulking program, I'm working on improving that entire course and adding some new chapters and sections to it, one of which will definitely be talking more about this sort of conservatism approach and cycling your training for long-term success and consistency with strength gains. And so you guys will definitely want to get in that program because it's going to be improved massively in the next months. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this workout. So I'm going to keep you guys updated with these new experiments that I am trying out. And so I want to keep things fully transparent and share with you guys my fuck ups, and so that we can learn from them as a whole, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my goal. I don't want to just act like I'm not learning anything myself, because I'm always learning and trying new things myself and making sure that what I put out there is the best possible shit for natural lifters, quite frankly. So that's it, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this. All right, so I just finished up my workout. I'm about to have my second meal. So I'm going to have this protein bar. It's 300 calories, banana and a peach, which is 200 calories, 150, and then some walnuts. So this is about 650 calories. So I'm going to eat this and then get outside, get some walking in, get some more work done. And then I'll probably be cooking dinner in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if you guys aren't walking 8 to 12,000 steps per day, then you're seriously missing out. And I don't know what the hell you're doing, quite frankly, because, back in the day, our hunter-gatherer ancestors walked 7 to 8 miles per day, which is equivalent to around 15,000 steps per day. And as a society, we've become so sedentary, man. So if you're not getting 8 to 12,000 steps per day, I mean, what the hell, man? It's so nice to just get out, disconnect, get in nature, or just walk around, get fresh air, and just get the body moving a little bit. You know, it's like even more than just like the physical benefits, like my psychological state just is at its peak whenever I'm on walks. Like, it's just something about walking through the city or walking through nature. It just feels incredible. You can kill two birds with one stone as well. Listen to a podcast, audiobook, or listen to music, or listen to nothing at all and just be, you know, present with your thoughts and just, you know, think. So you got to be getting those steps in every day, man. And if your goal is to lose fat, then it's a no-brainer. Like, it's going to basically induce a further calorie deficit, but without working up a big appetite, which is what you want with fat loss. You don't want to be doing intense cardio and digging a hole into your recovery and your appetite. And when it comes to muscle building, walking is actually great because it's going to help with recovery. It's going to get the body moving, the blood flowing. It's going to get oxygen to your muscles and your joints. And it's a net positive for muscle building as well. So don't think that just because your goal is to build muscle that you can sit around and just be a couch potato all day. It's like, no, I'm not an advocate of intense cardio. I think that's going to detract from your muscle and strength building pursuits. And quite frankly, who the fuck likes intense cardio anyways? So it's like, just get your walks in, man. It's going to be a net positive all around, and your mood, your longevity, everything's just gonna skyrocket. Magical things happen, man. So make sure you're getting your steps in every day. Super key. If you're a polarizer, 8 to 12,000 steps per day, non-negotiable. So I'm cooking on my dinner right now. We got some chopped up onions, tomatoes, garlic, and about 12 ounces of steak. Fried that up in some olive oil, super tasty. We got some rice cooking on the side. This is about 150 grams of rice. If you guys want a really good hack, make sure to soak your rice before you cook it. It cooks in like 10 times the speed. Make sure to add some wine, some white wine with your meat when you're frying it. Gives it an extremely, extremely good flavor. And then make sure to add your seasoning, some salt, pepper. You can do a little bit of cumin as well. It can be pretty good. Some paprika sometimes, but yeah, it's some stuff my grandma taught me, makes it taste incredible. And so I mixed it all together, even got some broccoli in there, and incredible meal. And then I mashed up some avocado, put that on top, a little Diet Pepsi next to it, and this is perfect. All right, guys, so the meal is finished. It's literally what I eat every single day. Like, you literally cannot go wrong with this meal. It has you covered on all bases, you know? Tons of protein, tons of good carbs, tons of vegetables, tons of good fats. We cooked with olive oil. We got some avocado, we got rice, we got onions, tomatoes, garlic, broccoli, steak. Literally has you covered on all bases. This stuff is incredible. And of course it tastes fantastic, because what's the point of eating boring ass meals, man? You can eat healthy foods and have it taste fantastic. So life's too short to eat boring meals that don't taste good, man. You know, that's what Polarity Fitness is all about. It's about how do we get in great shape without having our lives consumed by fitness, like most of the fitness industry. People think it's cool. Oh, I'm this gym rat, you know, I eat out of a Tupperware 6 times a day. It's like, fuck. Life's too short for that shit, man. I'd rather have, you know, a great physique, be in good shape, but have more time to put towards the other areas of my life. It's that simple. And I don't want to spend tons of time cooking. And when I do eat, I want to eat great tasting meals. And that's how you're going to get the most benefit out of fitness. You're not going to get the most benefits out of fitness by being a gym rat who's completely and utterly obsessed with the gym and his nutrition and his body. You're going to get the most benefit from being someone who is into fitness, someone who practices the right habits, but lets it fall into the background of their life and lets it enrich their life instead of consume it. That's where you're going to get the biggest benefit from fitness. And this is what Polarity Fitness is all about. Let's give this a shot, okay? Super good, man. Super good. This has literally everything you need. Tons of good nutrition in here, and it's fucking delicious. And so this is how I like to do it. You know, I eat a couple meals throughout the day. Super easy to prepare, and then dinner is really where I cook up something nice and really enjoy, you know. Obviously, I enjoy those other foods as well that I ate earlier, but I try to save as much time from cooking as possible. I kind of leave that for dinner. And that's the way to go for me, man. That's the most lifestyle friendly way to go about it. Just prepare a nice dinner. And then throughout the day, like even that second meal, for example, like I didn't have to prepare anything. I had a protein bar, boom, I know it's 300 calories. A couple pieces of fruit, boom, I know it's 200 calories. Some walnuts, whatever, you know? It's very simple, and that's how you have to keep it. There's so many variables for you to keep track of, and it's this crazy thing that's like all over the place. You're not gonna sustain it, man. And this is the most sustainable way to go about nutrition. So guys, it's getting pretty late. I'm about to wind down for the day and go to sleep. But before I do that, I'm gonna grab a little dessert quickly. So I've been eating these recently. They're pretty fucking good, man. So I'm gonna have 2 of these. One of them is like 190 calories, so it's like 380, I believe. My math is correct. 380 for 2 of these, so I'm gonna have 2. And that leaves me like pretty much where I need to be for the day on this bulk, like 32 to 3,300 calories per day. And yeah, man, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was pretty long, I'm assuming, with the training, with the nutrition and all of that. Hope you guys found it valuable to some degree or entertaining. If you guys want to pick up my free 13-point natural muscle building checklist, make sure to do that. The link will be in the description, and we'll talk soon. Peace.